Hey, it's Jason from Pro Guitar Studio. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk all about playing electric guitar with your fingers. Now, this is something that you may not do or you might not have done before. I think it's good just to have in your arsenal. So most of the time when I'm playing electric, I'm using a pick, but I also am comfortable using my fingers for certain things and for a different touch. Now, the piece that I just played right now is a very loose composition, which means I have a progression written, and I'm going to show you how to play that. And then in terms of soloing on top of that, I was just improvising. So I'm going to show you how to practice the scale using your fingers and talk about which fingers we might use, which fingers might be traditional, or which fingers might be used by players but not so traditional. Okay, so let's just sort of dive right in here. And the first chord that I'm using here is a G, but I'm using my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string. Okay, now the G chord we're playing is going to have that. We're going to play with our thumb. And then I'm going to use my index, middle, and ring finger to play strings 2, 3, and 4, the B, the G, and the D string. And this note and these notes essentially make a G chord, okay? So we have all the notes in there. We have G, B, and D, so we're good. We can call that a G chord. Now I'm going to play the thumb and then the fingers. Then I'm going to slap a string. So you can use your thumb. I'm sort of doing a combination of thumb, but also my fingers hitting the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. And so these fingers act as a team. So I'm going to go thumb, pick, or pluck, string mute, so slapping it with our fingers, and then thumb, and then fingers again. And then I'm going to hammer on the 1st fret string number 2 and the 2nd fret string number 4. And this might be a little awkward for you. Okay, now if you can't do the hammer on, you can always pick it. No problem. But I'm doing the hammer on. Okay. And at the very end, so I go slap again, and then thumb. These fingers are still here. I'm going to pick those strings again, so 2, 3, and 4, and do a pull off. So this chord, by the way, is called C over G. Okay, so. So we have the first part that I showed you already. And then back again. Just the thumb on string number 6. I'm going to grab the pinky finger on string number 2, 3rd fret, and same strings. So it's like a team, right? Slap again. So thumb, strum, slap, thumb, strum. And this here, we're going to do, usually you do like a pull off, but what I'm doing is I call it a reverse hammer on. Because I'm going to take the pinky finger off, but I'm going to hammer on these notes for the C over G. The reason why I do that is because the middle finger needs a hammer on. I find it hard to only do a hammer on with just the middle and not like the index. So we have this sort of a weird technique. But you could hold your first finger and play it, and just hammer on the middle finger as you pull off. So pull off pinky, hammer on middle. Definitely a challenging thing. But the way I'm doing it, I call it a reverse hammer on because the pull-off is not sounding from the full pull-off motion of the pinky. It's actually hammering on the index finger. So I think it gives it a louder boost a little bit. That's just the pull-off and the hammer on together. Versus very similar sound. So whatever way it allows you to do this, okay? So we have the first part. Second part, slow it down. And that one I just let it ring out. I don't do any slapping at the end there. Right now, that's the main riff. I do add a few fills in. Those are just ad-libs. So they're all in the key of G. But that's the main riff, okay? So we're trying to get that. Now, a little bit of gain definitely goes a long way. I'm playing on my bridge pickup. My neck would sound like this. Definitely won't have the same pull on your acoustic because the strings are a little thicker, so you won't get the same kind of sound that I'm going for here, okay? But you can try it on any guitar you want. Now, that is the main riff behind it. But once I start playing that, once I play it a few times, I'm going to go into an improvised solo. Now, you can look at it really simply. You can just do G major pentatonic. The first thing I do is I actually bend up the 10th fret string number 2, a full tone, and I grab the 10th fret string number 1. Then I add some vibrato. But I'm using my index and my middle. You could use your thumb and your index. All right, now, traditionally speaking, playing scales with your fingers, if you look in a classical method, it's going to be your index and middle sort of back and forth, right? So I did a bunch of classical playing early on in my guitar playing career. And so, not that I was a professional classical player or anything, but I did play quite a few pieces that use this technique. So when I play with my fingerstyle playing, I tend to stick to that. That's the G major. Here's the G Mixolydian. Now the G Mixolydian scale is what I use in that piece there, although that might be a little more advanced if you haven't dealt with the Mixolydian scale. I'll show you that in a moment. But yeah, the idea is playing your index and middle back and forth. If we did the G major scale, G major pentatonic, we'd have the 3rd fret string number 6, 5th fret string 6 as well, and then the next string is 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 5. And I'm alternating my fingers. But at first, I think a lot of people find it awkward to do one note with your index, one note with your middle. So if you find that challenging, just like alternate picking with the down and up picking, you can double pick each note. There we go. Now I'm trying to float my thumb just to give you the demo, but typically when I play, I'll use my thumb to block strings. So when I come I'm using that to block the noise, okay? So that's not traditional fingerstyle, but when we're playing electric guitar with distortion, sometimes it's definitely necessary. Okay, now I'll also throw my thumb in because of that. At certain times, I'll throw my thumb in, especially on the thicker string, on string number 6. Not traditional again, but it's something that I do. And you'll find a lot of players will do that when they're alternating between different strings. They'll use the thumb and then the index, or thumb and middle. So I just go like, I'll try to alternate my fingers, my thumb and my index, or thumb and middle, whatever way is going to work best for you. So just keep in mind, don't stick to one hard and fast rule right away. You can try to start off with index and middle, just alternating. But if you need to break the rules a little bit just to get going, don't worry. As long as we're trying to use your fingers to get started, that's a good thing. So when you look at a lot of players playing electric guitar with their fingers, everyone's style is a bit different. So feel free to watch some videos of your favorite players. That will definitely help out. Now the one scale that I did as well was the Mixolydian scale. So Mixolydian scale is essentially the C major scale. G Mixolydian scale is the C major scale starting on the G note. So we're going to go 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 4, 5, 3, 5, and then we're going to go 1, 3. Now there are different ways to play that scale, so I could go up and go. Play the 6th fret string number 2 instead of the 1st fret. And that works as well. But just keep in mind, when I'm playing with my fingers, my goal is not necessarily speed, but feel. So the feel is very soft, very loose. Sometimes the timing, I'll let it go a little bit with my fingers, just because with the pick, I usually tend to be quite fast. Fingers, I can slow down a little bit. And definitely I am faster with a pick, but playing with your fingers gives you a different sound, completely different feel. I couldn't get this with a pick. I can get close, but still doesn't have that same feel. That sounds way more interesting to me anyways. And again, that first note I did was going in, I bent the 10th fret string number 2 and held that down, did what's called a pedal steel bend. And so you can use that as a way to get into soloing through the G major pentatonic. So that's probably the easiest one if you're thinking of one scale to work through is the G major pentatonic. All the positions are very similar, or they are similar, they're the same as E minor pentatonic, so if you know that scale. That'll work as well, okay? So as you work with your fingers, it might be easy to start off even with a scale that you already know. So if there's a certain scale that you do play, try to alternate your fingers in that. Again, double picking each note can help out a lot. And then just trying to see what works for your hand. Watch some videos from your favorite players. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I love answering those. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Helps me do what I do. And subscribe for more videos like this each week. I'll see you later.